Roark. Roark, or Hyota in Japanese, is the gym leader of Oreburgh City's gym. He hands out the Coal Badge to trainers who defeat him, and he specializes in Rock-type Pokemon. Oh, he is Byron's son, but I will cover him later. As his name suggests, this guy mainly uses Rock-type Pokemon. After he is defeated, he will give the player the Coal Badge and TM76, Stealth Rock. The badge gives the player the ability to use Rock Smash outside of battle. Roark is also the Oreburgh Mines safety supervisor, and he lets the trainers of Oreburgh train in the mines freely. Despite his young age, he is a damn good supervisor that keeps the mine running safely and efficiently. Next to this mature side, there is a very childish one. He will get very embarrassed after losing to trainer without any badges. Roark later appears in the Underground, or the Grand Underground, depending on the version of the game you're playing, welcoming the player on their first visit there, and explaining a handful of features of the area. Like the other gym leaders, he can be fought again at the Battleground in Platinum. He also appears at the Battle Tower, where he's able to team up with his father Byron in a double battle. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you what his Pokemon team is. As said before, he only uses Rock-type Pokemon and will face the player with a Geodude, an Onix, and a Cranidos. Now, let's conclude with some fun fact. Roark, his dad Byron, and the Underground Man form a trio of fanatic diggers. As a child, Roark spent a significant amount of time playing on Iron Island. And, as last, Riley was considered for the position of Oreburgh gym leader first, but he declined and suggested Roark for the position. If you don't remember who this guy, he is a stylish guy with a blue jacket and hat that likes Pokemon with a high attack. He only possesses a Riolu in his team, Gardenia. Gardenia, or Natane, is the second gym leader that the player faces in the 4th generation games. She is the gym leader of Eterna City's gym and will hand out the Forest Badge to trainers who defeat her. She is a grass-type lover like Erica, the cute kimono girl from the 1st generation. I already made a video about that, go watch it, link in description. Now, let's move on. As I just said, Gardenia uses grass-type Pokemon in battles. For defeating her, trainers receive the Forest Badge, TM86, Grass Knot, and the ability to use Cut outside of battle. Gardenia likes to explore the Eterna Forest, but she is such a scaredy cat that can't get near the old chateau. As a gym leader, she feels very important and made a rule that you have to beat all of her students before challenging her. A big showing off for a scaredy cat. When the player had bought the villa in the resort area, Gardenia will sometimes visit the villa and will always arrive when the houseplant is purchased. One of her lines of dialogue at the villa confirms her fear of ghosts, and she notes that she is worried about what would happen if there was a grass ghost Pokemon. Maybe you don't know, but this is a type combination that didn't exist prior to Generation 6. Okay, now that we have finished with this girl dressed like a Robin Hood, let's move on to the fighting type gym leader. God damn, I almost forgot again. Her Pokemon team is composed of a Cherubi, a Turtwig, and a Roserade. Now we can move on. For real. Maylene. Maylene, Sumomo in Japanese, is the gym leader of Veilstone City's gym. She hands out the Cobble Badge to trainers who defeat her. You can tell just from one gaze that she is a fighting-type Pokemon user. Look at her, she is always with that sportif outfit. Trainers who defeat her, other than the Cobble Badge, will also receive the TM60, are able to use Fly outside of battle, and, last but not least, if she is the 4th gym leader defeated, all Pokemon up to level 50 will obey the player. Maylene is considered a cute little girl that looks a bit clumsy, but she is mature and, in the town, she is respected for her strength. But she apparently doesn't know her own strength, as she is unsure of how she got to be gym leader and seems rather confused by the whole thing. Little curiosity, her father is a gambler that plays at the Veilstone Game Corner. Let's back talking about Maylene. The player can encounter her at Route 217 in Pokemon Platinum, where she is apparently training by walking to Snowpoint City in cold and barefoot. This girl believes that being barefoot is healthier than wearing footwear, pointing out that Pokemon go barefoot. She might be right, but I am not going to argue that. Maylene has great respect and admiration for Candice, which I will cover later. She is also a food lover that likes to join some eating contests, and an athletic passionate which loves to participate in the Pokeathlon's Supreme Cup with her Lucario, Meditite, and Machoke, her Pokemon team. Now let's move to the 5th gym leader that looked like a weirdo, Crasher Wake. Crasher Wake, also called Maximum Mask in the Japanese version, is the gym leader of Pastoria City's gym. Can you guess what type of Pokemon he uses in battle? If you think that he likes fighting-type Pokemon because he looks like a wrestler, you are so damn wrong. This dude is pro with water-type Pokemon, and his team is made of Gyarados, Quagsire, and a Floatzel. What the heck is wrong with this guy in Brawly? A surfer that prefers fighting-type Pokemon rather than water-type, and now, a wrestler that prefers water-type instead of fighting-type. Are the developers drunk while creating these two? Anyway, back to Wake. As I just said, he uses water-type Pokemon in his battles, and upon defeat, the player will receive the Fen badge, the TM55, and are able to use Defog or Surf outside of battle. Crasher Wake has a jovial, enthusiastic, and bombastic personality, just like Watson, I might say. In battle, Wake is looking for fun. He likes moves that make the battle interesting and exciting. He often encourages everyone to have fun and not take Pokémon battles too seriously. As a wrestler stereotype, Wake used to use the prize money he gets from competitive Pokémon battles to help the unfortunate, and his Pokémon keeps the weather of Pastoria City clear by using Defog periodically. As you can conclude from his appearance, Wake is a foreign person that was born overseas. However, he speaks Japanese fluently like a mother language, without any foreign accent. It was later revealed in Pokémon Black 2 and White 2 that he was born and raised in the Sinnoh region, but no one believes in that. Fun fact, his wrestling matches will occasionally be shown on the TV as part of the Pokémon Variety Hour, which he always wins. Now let's move to the most sophisticated trainer and coordinator of the region, Fantina. Fantina, Melissa in Japanese, is the gym leader of Hearthome City's gym that is specialized in Ghost-type Pokémon. As said before, she is a very sophisticated trainer and coordinator that is an expert in Pokémon contests. She usually competes in Master Rank Super contests and is also a member of the Ribbon Syndicate. To put it simply, the Ribbon Syndicate is a gigantic, very exclusive beauty salon that players can only access if they have 10 different ribbons on Pokémon in their party. Inside the facility, you can enjoy spa treatments to strengthen your Pokémon's friendship. This is also the only place where egg treatments are performed to increase the initial affinity of the Pokémon that will hatch from them. Oh, you can also buy some very expensive ribbons to flex your status. Fantina, will hand out the Relic Badge, the TM65, Shadow Claw, and the ability to use Surf or Defog outside of battle, depending on the game you are playing, to those who defeat her. She is apparently not from the country the games are set in, and often peppers her speech with phrases of French. Fantina speaks a mix of French and broken Japanese, and you can guess where she comes from, right? Upon arriving in Sinnoh, she decided to become a contest performer, so she dresses up in fancy outfits for Pokémon contests. She considers herself to be a contest expert and can occasionally be competed against in super contest shows, in which she uses her Looney, a nickname for her Drifblim. The other two Pokémon of her party are Gengar and Mismagius. She later achieved the title of gym leader by studying hard. In Pokémon Diamond and Pearl, and the remakes Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, she cannot be challenged until after the player has received the HM or TM, Surf, from Cynthia's grandmother in Celestic Town. In Platinum, instead, she is battled much earlier in the game and will make her gym available to players as soon as they talk to her at the contest hall. She will from time to time visit the player's villa and is a big fan of Dahlia's dancing style and, as the Ghost-type Pokémon user, she makes regular visits to the Lost Tower, a place like the Pokémon Tower of Lavender Town, just to make a comparison. Byron. Byron, alias Togon, is the gym leader of Canalave City's gym. As I mentioned before while talking about Roark, Byron is his father, and they have the same passion and obsession, mines digging. Byron uses Steel-type Pokémon in battles. The player who defeats him will receive the Mine Badge, the TM91, Flash Cannon, and will be able to use Strength outside of battle. Byron is the one that asked Riley to become a gym leader, but he declined because he thought Roark suited that role better. Byron doesn't have much confidence as a gym leader for his son, but he is enthusiastic about the new young generation of Pokémon trainers. He loves to train on Iron Island to become stronger. After the player obtains the National Pokédex, the player can find him there, on the Iron Island, and he will tell you that he blames himself for still treating Roark like a child and give the player a metal coat. Its Pokémon party is made of Bronzor, Steelix, and Bastiodon. There is only 2 other gym leader to cover, so keep watching and remember to press the like button and subscribe to the channel. It costs 0 effort to you, but it will help us greatly. Thank you. Candice. Candice, or Suzuna in Japanese, is the trainer that Maylene admires and the gym leader of Snow Point City's gym. Candice uses Ice-type Pokémon in her battles. Its party is made up of a Snover, Sneasel, a Abomasnow, and a Medicham, for some unknown reason. Trainers who defeat her will receive the Icicle Badge, TM72, Avalanche, and will be able to use Rock Climb outside of battle. Candice teaches that before battling with Pokémon, a person needs to befriend them first. She has an interest in fashion and romance as well as Pokémon, and believes a person should put all their focus into whatever they do. She sometimes muses that she acts the opposite of the way people would expect an Ice-type gym leader to behave, warm and friendly instead of cold and distant. Well, she is right on this point. This girl acts more like an idol than a Pokémon trainer. Similarly to Mira, the little girl that is specialized in Pokémon with special attack of the 5 trainers group, she sometimes refers to herself in third person, using her own name instead of using the personal pronoun I. a thing that is typical in Japanese culture, where it is used to indicate femininity or childishness. After defeating, Candice will also allow the player entry into the Snow Point Temple. In Pokemon Platinum, Maylene, besides admiring her, she also mentions that Candice wanted to practice against her to learn about the fighting type because of it being a weakness of Ice-type Pokemon. Volkner. Volkner, Denzi in Japanese, is the gym leader of Sunny Shore City's gym. I don't have to tell you that this guy is an electric-type user. It is so obvious that he is... I mean, look at it! He has the same face and the same hairstyle of the 4th Hokage. Damn, this is quite an IP stealing, don't you think? Okay, let's back to the topic. Volkner will hand out the Beacon Badge, the TM57, Charge Beam, and the ability to use Waterfall outside of battle. In addition, all Pokemon, no matter what level, will obey his trainer. Volkner is friends with Flint, a guy with a red afro and member of the Sinnoh Elite Four. Volkner became depressed because no worthy challengers had come to Sunny Shore City in a while. He had been considering challenging the Elite Four and spent all his time renovating the gym's electrical equipment, building the entire electrical puzzle gear out of boredom. And by doing this, he put a strain on Sunny Shore's power supply and caused rolling brownouts. The player will experience it when first arriving in Sunny Shore. Once the player get there, Flint will introduce them to Volkner, who agrees to hold off on challenging the Elite Four until after he battles the new challenger. Volkner Pokemon Party is made on Raichu, Luxray, Ambipom, and an Octillery. The last two are not electric type, but have an electric move.